Hello, love warriors, and welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are doing good. I am superb, as you guys can see. Things are great. So we're gonna be doing another video. If you are new to my channel, welcome, welcome. I am Just Flo. I am a love coach and a messenger of the heart. And what do we do here? I teach you how to increase your energy so that you can transmute your pain, your confusion, or your love blocks into power and wholeness and live the life that you truly desire. That's what we do here. So, as you guys can see in the video, this one's a little bit different from the ones I have done in the past. Still anchored in love, peace, harmony, and abundance, because that is the root of the channel and the root of Love Warrior. And so I want to explain how this video came about. And it's basically all my videos have always been centered around health and healing and starting to live your true authentic self, feeling empowered in your wounds, feeling empowered in your experiences, and having the capability to show up regardless, right? But it was always missing this little part of truth, divine universal truth, that I didn't know how to share with you guys without it coming off as something you can't see, as educational, as I don't know. I wasn't ready to share it in a way that was true and confident and authentic. And so I was scared that it would come off as, what the hell is she talking about? And when I say what the hell is she talking about, not from you guys, but from me, because I also rewatch my videos when I need to hear those messages. And so if I wasn't able to rewatch that video, then it's not a good video for you guys. And if I didn't feel the authentic and the truth and the vision of what I was trying to share, you guys wouldn't be able to feel that. So now this week I've been really like getting in tune with a part of me that I guess was ready to be revealed. And so I finally sat down yesterday after a chakra healing cleanse, and was breaking down. Actually, I don't even know how this started, but I was breaking down a thought. And this thought led to how to get out of the matrix mentality, right? And so by breaking that out, at first I was kind of like, what the hell? Like, I feel stuck. This is where I'm stuck. And I was talking to my partner and he was like, no, the solution is this. And I was like, wait, that is the solution. Like, what? Like, it's so simple. That is the solution. And it finally, like, floodgates opened and like, I was like, yes, this is what I want to talk about. The root is love, peace, harmony, abundance, but it's the trees and the leaves are growing into breaking out of the mental illusion of the matrix. And so that's what brought about this video. So let's get into it. So I want to start by clarifying, I guess, the beginning. It's not really the beginning, but it's at the beginning. Okay, so let me get through it. Let me cook, guys, and then if you get it, you get it. Okay, so as you guys know, I've said it in videos, if you're watching the videos, I'm a student of Kimuntu, right? And that's traditional spirituality, Kongo, with a K. And I'm not an initiate yet. I'm still a student. And so according to the historical facts, which you guys can find yourselves as well if you do the research, we're going to be talking about Osiris, Horus, Isis, and Nephthys. I hope I said that right. Nephthys, I respect you. Let me not butcher your name. And there's an energy behind the name. So in Kimuntu, it's not exactly those names, but that's the name that everybody knows, okay? So let me sit with it. So we're going to be talking about those four because I want you guys to understand the world that we live in and how it comes back to that matrix that I was talking to you guys about, okay? And breaking out of that mental illusion. And how sometimes when we feel stuck, disconnected from self core, it has to do with this story. So in Kemet Kimuntu, they talk about, or they teach us, they teach us, because you also have to go do your research. It's not really something that you just follow a teacher. You have to also go and learn it by yourself, right? And so that's why I like this school, because they teach you the history, but they also say go do your research. And that's something that I've been doing my whole life, even before I found this school. It's like I would feel something, I would sense something, and then I would go and break it down so that I understand it better. And that's what led me to being the life coach that I am today. Okay, so Osiris and Isis are married. Seth and Nephthys are married, okay? And this is on the hieroglyphs, the Egyptian hieroglyphs, right? And so Osiris, Osiris is the ruler of light, of life. Seth is the ruler of destruction and chaos, okay? And so Seth became jealous of, okay, my daughter. All right, so let's get into the story. So Osiris represents the god of light, the god of life. He is rebirth. Isis represents intuition. She's the goddess of intuition, of manifestation. Seth is the god of chaos and destruction, and the power of trials, right? And the power of trials. He represents the power of trials, which is basically an evaluator. And Nephthys is the goddess of mystery, the goddess of the veil. She is represents the transition between the seen and the unseen world, okay? And then there's Horus and there's Nubis, but that's not the point of my story right now, okay? So Seth, the god of destruction and trials and chaos, he becomes jealous of his brother. He's like, wait, my brother got all this going on for him. How come he gets to be the god of life and light? I want some of that power. So he kills his brother through this whole scheme that he comes up with. You guys go check the story. So he comes up with a scheme, kills his brother, okay? Yes, they are immortal, but immortals find ways to kill immortals, okay? So then he cuts his brother in pieces and scatters his body all over the world. His wife Isis is like, my husband. Let me bring my husband back, because now the world, Seth is the ruler of the world. So now chaos and destruction are now the ruler of the world, the material. Well, we'll just say the world, okay? And now Isis is like, let me find all the pieces of my husband and put him back together and bring him back, okay? Her sister Nephthys helps her. So she's like, okay, let's do it together, sister. I got your back. You know, we got this. We're going to bring him back to life. So they gather all his pieces. They bring him back. They put him together, but they couldn't find his penis. Okay, I was trying to find a symbolic metaphor way to say it, but I couldn't. So they couldn't find his penis. So she uses an object to represent that, and then is able to bring him back shortly enough to get pregnant. She gets pregnant with Horus, which is their son, but also a reincarnation of Osiris. Okay, so she brings him back temporarily so that they can conceive their child. So they unite in love. Okay, and then he becomes because of the way Seth killed him, his spirit wasn't able to transcend. So his soul wasn't able to transcend into the spiritual realm. Now that Isis brought him back, his spirit is now able to transcend, and he becomes the ruler of the spiritual plane. Okay, so we now have a ruler of the spiritual plane, and we now have reincarnation. So when souls, which Anubis will guide the souls to Osiris, they can now pass, right? They can now go into the spiritual plane if they're ready, if that's the old thing, right? And Horus becomes he has to beat Seth. But okay, let's stop the story there. So Seth is now the ruler of this plane. He rules with destruction. He rules with chaos. He rules with illusion. He rules with schemes. He is the trial that we must overcome in order to see this plane in a new light, right? To see this plane for beyond what he shows us, okay? So he's not a bad guy. He's just a guy that wanted power, and in that power created this illusory world. Okay. And so because these four people, or these four gods, represent us as a whole essence, as a whole spirit, as a whole soul sense, it represents us. Okay. So there's the myth, the story, but it represents us. Okay. Hope you guys are following with me. If you know, you know. So it represents us. We go through these stages of awakening, and we go through these stages of initiation, and we go through these stages of leveling up our frequency, leveling up our awareness, our consciousness, right? And then being able, and that's when you see some people with gifts that have clairvoyance, clairsentient, clair, okay? And so I'm so excited to explain this to you guys, and there's just, it's not flowing. Okay. Sorry if the explanation is not smooth, guys. I'm sharing my thoughts like this with you for the first time, and I keep getting interrupted. So as I bring up the story more and more, which I probably will, it'll be more smooth, more beautifully said. And as I go through my initiation process too, I'll bring more details into that. So let's continue. I think this is where I left off. So Horus, who is the child of Isis and Osiris, while she brought him back temporarily, is grows up to eventually take the throne back from Seth, right? So Horus takes the throne back from Seth and banishes Seth. So Seth doesn't die. Seth is the god of illusion, of chaos, of destruction, which is the more dense dimensions, which is where we live in right now, right? So that's why we see so much chaos, destruction, confusion, and illusion, right? That is the matrix. The matrix is ruled by Seth. And so when we stay within the illusion, when we stay in the illusion of work, when we stay in the illusion of family, when we stay in the illusion of history and what it's done to us genetically and what it's done to our mindset, we are trapped in that state. And so Horus, by taking the throne back from Seth, becomes the ruler of the living world. So when you overcome that illusion, you're now a living being. You're now a soul that is living as a human in this wonderful world where you can manifest anything, where you can live as your truth, where you can embody love, peace, harmony, abundance without getting sucked into the illusion. And that's when it becomes a playing ground. That's when it becomes fun, because you can now live in the matrix, in and out of the matrix, because we don't just live in the matrix. And you can see that when you're daydreaming or when you're dreaming, you can now live in all worlds that are available to all the parts of us when you bring those parts together in harmony, in peace, in love. You don't blame Seth. You don't get angry with Seth. You don't have this vendetta against Seth, because Seth is doing what Seth was built to do. Seth is honoring his mission in all of this divine universe. Okay, that's what he was made to do. He's just doing what he does. And so even in your shadow self, you don't blame your shadow self, but you can use your other selves to reintegrate your shadow self into the wholeness of who you are and really embody your true power. You're able to bring destruction and chaos into something that needs to be reborn, that needs to be rebranded, that needs to be renewed. That's like trying to block winter from doing what winter does. We need winter so that the leaves can bloom into the truth of who they are, so that they can go through their stages of life, of what they are, of the spiral of life, right? So now into the message of everything that we have been saying, which is generating energy to show up in the world with love, peace, harmony, abundance, embodying your truth, right? And living the life that you desire is now getting out of that matrix, escaping that matrix, right? And so that was the little touch that I couldn't bring into it before, because the truth was that I always wanted to escape the matrix. But how do you escape the matrix, right? And how do you explain what the matrix is? I could understand it and see it and feel it and sense it, because every time I thought about something, let's say, because for example, I was born in Canada. I don't say I am Canadian anymore, because there is an energy that when you say I am. So before in Katiopa, which is the name, traditional name for Africa, they would say I am Congo with a K, I am Bantu, I am Accra, we'll just say, or I am, take any village and say I am, because it was a state of being. It was a state of being. So when I say I am love warrior, it is a state of being that you are embodying. And so you are taking on the mission and the vision of that state. And so the mission and the vision of Canada is not the same mission and vision that I see for myself as a love warrior. They were incompatible. And so now, yes, although I was born in what you call Montreal, or what you call Georgia Teke, I think I said that right. Georgia Teke. I hope I said that right. For the natives, that's the land that I was incarnated in. And depending on how I place that birth on myself, there is a state of being, there's a vibration, and there's an energy behind that. Okay. So when you say I am this, there's a state of being behind it, right? And so you don't want to be stuck in a state of being that is aligned with illusion, that is aligned with chaos, that is aligned with destruction, that is aligned with separation. You that is watching this video, you that is working directly with me as your mentor, as your coach, want to bloom out of that illusion and live as your truth, not be burdened by everything that separates you, understanding that, okay, this is a capitalistic world. And when I break down, that was the breakdown that I did, when I break down what it means to live in a capitalistic world, it makes no sense that all the money that is circulating is the people's money. But there's tax, there's debt, there's uses of the money that doesn't make sense. When you follow the money, it makes no sense. But now when you see that the energy of money is the same essence of energy that is within you, and that you are the embodiment of that use, of that exchange, you realize that you are irreplaceable. Your energy is needed to keep this illusion working, really like in the Matrix, right? To keep this illusion working and keeping you trapped. And so instead of being trapped in what you call stuck, you're not really trapped and you're not really stuck. You claim back your energy, you claim back your power, and you show up in a way that is beyond the Matrix, that actually uses the Matrix to your advantage as a stepping stone, as a surge, because your true self already sees beyond it. You just need to accept that, wow, what I feel, what I sense in this desire, what I feel intuitively, what I see in my mind, what I feel in my energy, right? Is above, is beyond my bills, is beyond my stress, is beyond this divorce, is beyond this argument. There's a deeper truth behind that. And so let me see what the deeper truth is. I don't want to be in debt, because there's also the equivalent in the spiritual realm. And so I don't want to be in debt, but I want to be free. That's your answer. I don't want to be unhealthy. I want to be free, because all of those. So that's your answer. And so I help you guys dissect that, so you actually show up in a way that is practical, but also spiritual, and that makes you feel energetic in the moves that you guys are actually making. But now that I've tied the two together, it feels so like, you guys have already seen me very excited in themes, but now I feel like, wow, I'm able to share with you a side of me, a spiritual side of me that I wasn't able to voice before. And then now I finally found the key of what that voice is, which is escaping the mental illusion, escaping the matrix. Okay, I'll stop here because baby girl needs some attention. But we're gonna talk about this more. Let me know what your questions are. I'm on TikTok, I'm on YouTube, as you guys know, and I've been less on Instagram lately, but I will be more on Instagram again. So you guys can DM me, justflowkofi@gmail.com, DM me on TikTok, or just write in the comment section and let me know what you guys think. All right, see you guys soon.